What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for stopping in. It's kind of a bummer. As soon as I got here and set the camera up, it tipped over in the wind and the mic got messed up, so I hope you guys can hear me okay. I wanted to go over our Nissan Titan Pro4x Overlander project with you today. If you're new to the channel, part of the channel's objective is to document some of the adventures that we partake in going forward, and a lot of that is going to be around camping and overlanding. Overlanding in particular is going to start happening this fall, which we're really excited about. So over the next couple of months or so, we're going to keep preparing the Nissan Titan Pro4x for accomplishing some of these overlanding, off-roading type tasks, and we're partially there. As you can see, the truck is not stock. We have a 3-inch rough country lift with some rough country upper control arms. May have to change those out here coming soon as they're starting to get a little bit worn out. We have some 18-inch black diamond wheels. They are 10 inches wide, and we are running some Nitto Ridge grapplers. Those are 33 1250s. Again, 33 1250 18s. One of the best additions that I've made to this truck so far is the ARE Overlander bed cap with the sliding windows and the tilt down front window. We'll go through that a little bit in the next few minutes. A couple of things that you can't see are underneath the truck. They are the skid plates for the oil pan and the transfer case. I need to get the skid plate for the fuel tank as well, which will help us certainly as we get into even more rugged terrain. What I am looking for this truck is a little bit better running board. My wife likes them because it does help her get into the truck, but these hang down a little bit too low and they are too prone to catching things when we get into some real off-road situations. What I would like to do is get some rock sliders on the side here for the rockers for a little bit of protection, but I might make those on my own. I need to make a trip home to Minnesota to get that done. The latest addition, which you may notice already on the top of the bed cap, is the ARE Ascend roof basket. Unfortunately, those are on an indefinite back order. I was able to find one on Facebook Marketplace, so check some of your local listings if you're interested in that, but it mounts perfectly to the ARE bed cap and allows for a lot of mounting points for some lighting. So we have the 50-inch rough country light bar, we have some 2-inch flush mount rough country lights, and then we have I believe it is a 20-incher on the back, which does a lot if you're backing up or you need to see behind you. Working in tandem with that 50-inch light bar up front are these 2-inch rough country pod lights. They are white and amber on 2 separate switches. Those are helpful. I have them pointed downward so we can see more in front of the truck, and I might angle them out a little bit to sort of broaden the sweep of the light. I went ahead and ordered one of these shorty antennas. This is a 13-incher, which I like much better than the real stubby ones. Those are kind of ugly in my opinion, but it's certainly better than that long factory antenna that you have that hits on the tree branches and the parking garages and things like that. And I have not lost any reception. A lot of people have jumped in and said, yeah, well, you're gonna lose reception. It hasn't. We haven't done a lot of way out in the country driving yet since installing that. So I'd imagine it may struggle to get some stations when you're a little bit further out, but on our daily commute and things like that, it picks up all the radio signals that you could need. XM is just fine, and to be honest, I don't listen to the radio all that much anyway. We haven't done much, if anything, in the interior in terms of an overlanding setup other than the switch panel for the accessory lighting. It all goes under the hood to one central location. I'll show you that here in a minute, but you can change out the labels for each button depending on what lights you have installed. We have everything we need here at this point. I may add a couple, 1 or 2 more bits of accessory lighting to the setup, but for now, we're good to go. I have a cost breakdown video and all of the details and a review of the ARE bed cap, so check that video out if you're interested in that. But for now, I just want to give you sort of an update on our Overlander setup. One of the first things that I did to this truck was to build this platform, which acts as a storage compartment as well, with keeping some odds and ends underneath there. It's made essentially out of 2x4s and some plywood with a couple of hinges, and I put down this padded yoga mat as well. I didn't go with the aftermarket platforms because they stand a little bit too tall. We have a dog that's about 100 pounds or so, and his head would stand a little bit too close for comfort to the top of the topper. This platform allows for 3, 4, 5 inches of additional headspace for him, which is perfect. I was able to repurpose this molly rack from an old Jeep. That helps with some first aid stuff, a couple of little tools, multi-tool, fire starter equipment, little garbage storage thing, and various odds and ends, whatever we might need at any given time. It's helpful to have it readily available in the back of the truck, in addition to the tool kit and sort of the bug out bag survival kit that I have in the back of the truck as well. We got some tie downs and straps. We have a little fan back here. It's got an LED light in it as well, and it's USB chargeable. And we have a little bit of a power pack here with some plug-ins and a small air compressor for refilling up tires and things like that. It's made by Cat, so it's actually decent quality. And I think it was something like 150 bucks from Sam's Club. If I can find them again, I'll put a link in the description below. I'm sure I've linked that in previous videos if you have any interest in that. I have some lighting plans for the back of this truck. The bed cap that I chose was sort of no frills. I did get the sliding windows with the screen, and I have the sliding window, and it also tilts down for enabling us to clean the back of the truck, but also allow the cool air to flow from the cab of the truck into the back end if the dogs are back here and it gets a little bit warm. I do have some plans to use the utility track that Nissan puts in here from the factory. It is quite helpful. I'm going to make some shelving, maybe some collapsible shelving. We're going to see, but it's going to become even more practical for overlanding and camping. For now, it's just a clear space for the dogs to ride along to campsites or take them along on trips without getting a bunch of dog hair in the back of the truck. But it's very easy to throw a small mattress in the back of this, a couple of sleeping bags, and some other odds and ends, and just have a night out on the campsite in the back end of the truck underneath the stars. I did that with the little dog this winter, which was a lot of fun. Check out that video if you haven't already. It's probably in a card or in a thumbnail on the end screen or whatever. Just take a look at the channel, find that video. It's a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot more of that this fall and this winter, so look forward to that. So this bed cap was one of the more inexpensive ones that you can find. Lead time for me was about 8 or 9 weeks or so. I'm hearing through the grapevine that they're a little bit longer than that at this point, but the quality is decent. The color match is actually pretty good. There are a couple little things, I think, quality control type things that I probably wouldn't have let slip if I was in charge of the production facility, but it is what it is. I think all in was something like, gosh, I have a price breakdown of this topper. If you're interested in it, check that video out on this channel. I show you everything that was included and how much it costs, including taxes and installation. It really wasn't that bad. Comparing it especially to Lear, which was $1,000, $1,500 more. Certainly you can get this beefed up and have it insulated, have lighting installed, and do all sorts of stuff, which will certainly rack up the price tag. But as it sits right here, accomplishes everything that we need of it, and it was relatively inexpensive. It's obviously far from complete, and it's an ongoing overlander project, but right now it certainly accomplishes a lot of tasks for us, and it checks a lot of boxes. It's great for pulling our Novo 20.3 camper, which is set up more for off-grid camping. This truck itself will really go anywhere we need it to go. Obviously, if you're in some really thick brush or in a densely wooded forest, trying to get through some narrow trails, you might struggle because it is a full-size truck. But taking it out on the beach camping in North Carolina, getting out in the woods a little bit, taking it on some old mining trails or access trails to dirt roads, it's perfect. You might be interested in the Nissan Titan itself as far as being a full-size truck. I prefer the Frontier actually, but knowing that we were going to be pulling a camper with it, I needed a full-size truck, and obviously we have dogs as well, so that extra space, especially if you're going to be using it for overlanding, is helpful. Now if you're just a single person, the Frontier is great, but for having 2 people and dogs, you kind of need a full-size truck. It's a big 5.6 liter thirsty V8, but it does make a good amount of power and a good amount of torque. So if you're pulling a boat or a camper or other travel trailer or utility trailer, it's perfect for it. It has a 9-speed automatic transmission, which it doesn't do all that much for getting you good fuel mileage. You have to have reasonable expectations. With all of the accessories on it, particularly after adding the roof basket, I get about 15.5, 16 miles per gallon, maybe 17 on the highway if you keep it under 75, 80 mile an hour. Before that, I was getting 17, 18 miles per gallon, 19 if you stayed on a nice flat stretch of road. So it's really not all that bad considering what it is. But with a small lift or even a leveling kit to get that front end up a little bit, but a 3-inch rough country lift and a little bit beefier, more aggressive all-terrain or mud terrain type tire is going to do this truck wonders. But we have some of our additional controls here. We can lock the rear diff. It has 4 high and 4 low. This does have the towing package, so we have the trailer brake as well. Now, I don't want to lift it any higher. I think this is a perfect amount of lift for us. It gives us the clearance really that we need. The one thing that I do wish is that the front fender openings were a little bit wider at the bottom, because these 33-inch tires with the negative or minus 10 offset of these wheels pushes it out so that it actually rubs at full lock in the back corner in particular. So I want to do a little bit of trimming because I wish we could put a 35-inch tire on there. I think that would really set us up perfectly. But as a base to start from, this is really perfect for an overlanding project. Obviously some additional things I want to do to it, some modifications to the truck itself, but mostly accessories and things that will make it more useful and practical for us out on the trail. I think we're probably good with lighting, but I want some max tracks, a high lift, and obviously some shelving like I mentioned before in the back end, some foldable shelving, maybe some lighting for inside the cabin. I want to get something for the inside of the windows so we can cover those up, you know, for night camping, you know, if we're in a park where there's other people, for example. But really, it's pretty well outfitted as it is. If you have any suggestions for some additional things that we could do to the truck to help us maximize its potential out on the trail, let us know in the comments below. We're all for it. I don't know that I'm going to do big bumpers. I like the look of these, and I really can't afford to add much more weight to this truck just because we do pull a camper and I don't want to get us out of our limits. Would like to have a winch, but I don't know that that's going to make sense for us either. Again, trying to limit the amount of weight that we add to it. And although it is an overlander project, it is a daily driver as well. So I need to keep it sort of a dual purpose truck. But again, if you have any suggestions in order to check a couple of more boxes and things that you found helpful, let us know in the comments below. We really love this Nissan Titan Pro4x. It's got 91,000 miles on it at this point. We've had it for a couple of years and we're still digging it, and we're looking forward to taking on some more projects and going on a couple more adventures with it in the coming months. So I hope you guys will stick around, subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate you watching up to this point and appreciate the continued support. We'll see you in the next adventure.